Let's go over to the US election, and Kamala Harris is noticing she's got a small problem with black voters. So she has run out this great idea. She's calling it the opportunity agenda for black men. Now, you go through some of the things she is suggesting in here. Some of them are just downright racist. For instance, there's going to be, under her plan, 1 million fully forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs so that they can start up businesses. I'm sure there are people across Middle America through the Rust Belt and whatever who are going, my God, I haven't had a job for 5 years because you took away my manufacturing jobs. If only I had an opportunity to get a fully forgivable loan from the government, I might go and make a go of things. But no, unless you're black, you can't get hold of that. The rest is full of motherhood statements. It goes on to say that Harris wants to protect black investments in cryptocurrency. I'm not sure exactly why that is pulled out, but anyway, that's there. And also, she wants to give opportunities for black men to work in the marijuana industry. If there was anything you ever wanted people to get involved in, there it is. So you might be asking yourself, why is it that Kamala Harris would, 3 weeks out from the election, finally come up with some plan to appeal to black men? I suspect this is the reason.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012.
Not looking good, is it? Perhaps black voters in America have woken up to the fact that the Democrats have taken advantage of them for a very long time. They have just counted on them for their vote. That is not happening anymore, or at least it's on the decline. It's not working. And you could see the numbers right through from Obama down to Harris. It has declined at every single election, the black support for the Democrats, because they've gone, hang on, what have you actually done for me in the last 20-odd years? Nothing, basically, because you thought you could rely on my vote. The tide is starting to turn, and so Harris has gone, oh my God, what can I do? What can I possibly do? I'll protect your crypto investments and I'll get your jobs in the marijuana industry. I mean, God, she's hardly pulled the best out of the bag, has she?
And this is just 4 days after she announces this plan, just 4 days after Barack Obama went viral because he was telling off black men for their lackluster support of the Harris campaign. He literally took them to task. This, of course, is because black men in America have traditionally been part of the supporter base of the Democrats. And as you just saw in that CNN clip, they are now freaking out. So hot on the heels of Barack Obama taking it upon himself to literally chide these guys, what are you doing? Support the blue team. Now you've got Kamala coming out saying that another part of what she was planning in this plan for helping black men was studying diseases that disproportionately affect African-American men. So she's genuinely pulling out every stop. Another one was more apprenticeships for black men in America. So it's basically just trying to offer them any kind of candy they could possibly want before they go to the polls in 3 weeks' time.
Well, I mean, when you speak of candy, these 1 million loans of $20,000, fully forgivable.
I know.
Yeah.
That's not a loan.
That's free money.
That's a bribe. We'll give you 20 grand if you vote for Kamala Harris. And you're right that Obama chided black men for not being enthusiastic enough about Kamala Harris. But as part of his chiding, he actually said to them, is it because she's a woman? So he's accusing black men of being sexist, and that's the reason why they're not supporting Kamala Harris. I thought the Black Lives Matter riots were instructive as to how the Democrats think about black people. They think that black people are morally inferior,
yes,
which is why they turned a blind eye and said, well, of course they're going to loot department stores because, well, what other option do they have? They taught black people that they're helpless victims because of events of hundreds of years ago. Well, of course you're upset and of course you're downtrodden. And while they do that, they promise repeatedly to fix the plight of black people, but never do. And so I think black people have finally figured them out and said, we're going to vote for Trump, who's actually going to treat us like we're equals and provide opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, it's the bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
see it here in Australia. We see it all over the world, right? They just take advantage of voters, think, well, it doesn't matter. You're just going to vote for us anyway. Why would we possibly do anything for you? So she'd forgotten about the importance of black men up until now, 3 weeks before the election. So she's finally jumped on that. She also seems to have forgotten that back in 2020, when Joe Biden was running for president, the idea was to keep him away from the cameras as much as possible, because if he wasn't in front of the cameras, if he was down in his bunker, then he couldn't cause any trouble for his campaign. He couldn't turn voters off. Well, at her latest rally, she says that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing now.
It makes you wonder, why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America?
Oh, the irony is lost on this woman. Until a week ago, you were doing as few interviews as possible. Then you've done an onslaught of interviews, mostly with friendly outlets, journalists, podcasts, etc., because you finally realise, oh my God, people don't know who I am, because for all my time, nearly 4 years as Vice President, I've done 4/5 of bugger all. You've hidden away. Now you're complaining that Trump's doing the same thing. Quite bizarre. But then she goes on to say that Donald Trump, if he disagrees with you, is going to get the military to come and round you up and put you some sort of internment camp or something.
He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. It's a serious issue. He is saying that he would use the military to go after them. Think about this.
I mean, please, is that the most pathetic attempt you have heard at having a go at your opponent? And look, in typical Kamala style, she goes back to the weird cackling and stuff to talk about the debate. Yes, the best she can come up with to attack Donald Trump is not anything he's done in the last couple of weeks. It's the debate that was the better part of a month ago.
You guys watched the debate. Right. He has, quote, concepts of a plan. Concepts.
I mean, please,